Hey there, and welcome to the Childcare Director's Chair podcast. I'm your host, Erica Saccoccio, and today we're talking about something we often try to avoid, but it's so essential for our growth, and that is getting comfortable with discomfort. I get it. No one loves discomfort. It's that uneasy feeling that arises when you're about to step out into the unknown. But the truth is, growth happens when you push past discomfort. And as childcare directors, if we're going to grow our leadership, improve our programs, and ultimately provide the best care for children, we've got to get uncomfortable. And so get comfortable with being uncomfortable. In today's episode, we're going to share 8 tips to help you embrace discomfort and step outside your comfort zone with confidence. These tips are designed specifically for you, the childcare director, so you can grow as a leader and help your team and program thrive. First, let's talk about why discomfort is such a critical part of growth. If you think about times where you've really grown in your leadership career, I bet you'll find that they all involve doing something that made you feel a little uncomfortable. Let's consider a situation you might be familiar with. Leading a staff meeting. You've been asked to present new curriculum, and you're nervous about how it will be received. It's a big change for your team, and there's a chance that some people won't be on board. That discomfort is normal, but it's also an indicator that you're stepping into a new level of leadership. Now think about the benefits. When you push through that discomfort, you learn new ways to present your ideas, how to communicate with your staff, and handle resistance. And if you never take that step, then you stay stuck in your comfort zone, in your leadership, team dynamics, and program don't evolve. If you find yourself avoiding a challenge or situation, ask yourself, what would it look like if I pushed through this discomfort, and what would I learn from this experience? I want you to take away that discomfort is the catalyst for growth. If you're always comfortable, you're not challenging yourself to improve. And as a director, that's where you'll hit a plateau. Let me tell you a perfect example. So I think I'm a pretty good speaker, and I have been presenting workshops for years. Then I joined the John Maxwell Leadership Coaching and Speaking Program, and I just came back from the IMC. And I heard these folks get on these stages, and the way that they talked was a billion times better. They were smooth like butter. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not even close to where I want to be as a speaker. And so when you put yourself in those situations where you get a little uncomfortable and you take a look and say, geez, I'm really just not where I need to be. And that's okay. I also was invigorated by that experience because I was able to see how far I could really go and grow. And I want the same for you. So let's talk about those 8 tips that are concrete. They're actionable steps that you can start implementing right today to get more comfortable with that discomfort and lead your center to new heights. Let's start with let's name that fear. We all have fears, but the first step to overcoming them is to name them. Understanding exactly what makes you uncomfortable helps you address the root of the issue. For example, let's say you're dreading that one-on-one conversation with the staff member about their performance. And you might feel nervous because you're afraid they're going to get defensive or upset. But when you name that fear, such as, I'm worried that they'll think I'm being too critical, you can shift your mindset to something a little bit more manageable. Like, I'm having this conversation to help them improve, and that's part of my role as a leader. So here's an action tip you can take. Write down your biggest fears about stepping out of your comfort zone. Whether it's dealing with conflict, giving feedback, or introducing change, naming your fears is the first step to conquering them. And once you've named them, break them down. Are they based on reality or are they exaggerated thoughts that you can overcome? Secondly, start with the small wins. Feeling overwhelmed by an idea of stepping outside your comfort zone? Just start small. The idea is to build momentum, not to overwhelm yourself. Little wins lead to bigger successes. And if you're not sure about little wins, listen to yesterday's episode. I did a whole episode on little wins and how you can implement them in your day-to-day strategies. I understand you might be nervous about implementing a new policy in your center because it might be a big change, but you don't have to do everything at once. Instead of rolling out the policy to everyone at once, maybe begin by introducing it to one team or one classroom. Once you get comfortable with the conversation, you can then gauge reactions and then you can expand. So let me give you an action tip. Think of something small you can do this week that stretches you outside your comfort zone. Maybe you've been hesitant to ask for feedback from your team. Maybe you want to ask them, how am I doing as a leader? Start by asking one teacher for their input on a project or idea, and then celebrate that small step that you've taken and that you have put into action. You also want to reframe your mindset around failure, because one of the biggest obstacles to stepping out of your comfort zone is that fear of failure, and we all have it. But what if we reframe failure as part of the process instead of the end result? Maybe you introduced a new lesson plan or teaching method, but it didn't quite resonate with the children in the way that you hoped. Instead of seeing this as a failure, view it as a learning experience. Ask yourself, what didn't work and how can I make it better next time? And if the next time doesn't go quite as planned, give yourself permission to fail. Reflect on what didn't work and take it as an opportunity to improve. And the key is to learn from your mistakes rather than being afraid to make them. Because I'm more afraid of not trying than I am of failing, which is why I try so many different things. I want you to reframe failure as a stepping stone to success that will help you feel more empowered to take risks and try those new things. Find your why. When you're facing discomfort, it is easy to want to back out. But when you connect your actions with your deeper purpose, your why, it makes pushing through discomfort much easier. For example, if you're hesitant about presenting a new program or educational framework to your staff because you know they're not going to be happy, remind yourself of the bigger reason behind it. This new program will improve the quality of education at your center and benefit the children in your care. If you stay focused on your why, it can make the discomfort feel worth it. Write down a personal why as a childcare director. Write yours down. It could be related to improving the quality for care for your children. It could be creating a positive work environment for your staff. It could be making a bigger impact in your community. But having this motivation in mind can really help you push through that discomfort. The fifth thing I want you to think about is surrounding yourself with support. It's hard to step out of your comfort zone. Surrounding yourself with a support network, whether it's a mentor, a colleague, or even a group of fellow directors, helps you stay grounded and reassured. And while we're talking about having a group, you should join our Facebook group. It's not a huge group, so it's not overwhelming. I think we're maybe at 180 childcare directors, which I guess if there was 180 people in a room, that would feel like a lot. But for social media, it's not a large number. But there are wonderful people in that group who are always happy to help support you, give you feedback, help you run through things if you have a thought of, something you want to propose to your staff and you're not quite sure how to do it. That's the group for you. So, go on over to Facebook right now and hop into the Child Care Directors Chair Leadership Group. We'll be happy to invite you in. So here's some examples. Let's say you've been asked to lead a new initiative or project and you're feeling a little bit out of your depth. Instead of going it alone, reach out to someone who's been through it before. Maybe you have a mentor who has successfully introduced similar changes in their center. Their advice can really help make the process less overwhelming. And honestly, if you don't have a mentor, I definitely recommend that you seek out a peer or a mentor who can support you through discomfort. They can share your goals and your challenges. You can talk about it together, ask for the feedback, but you really don't have to do this alone. There's no reason for you to do it alone. And you're not the only one on this journey. So you also could be the answer to someone's prayers. So please join a group. It doesn't have to be mine. I mean, of course, I would love you to be mine, but it doesn't have to be mine. Find a group that feels good for you, but join a group, a mentorship group. Number 6, I would say give yourself permission to be uncomfortable. As directors, we often feel like we need to have everything figured out, and that can make us hesitant to try new things. But guess what? It's okay to not have all the answers right away. Give yourself permission to feel uncomfortable as part of the growth process. God knows I still don't have it all figured out. But if you're introducing something new, like a new curriculum, a new quality improvement framework, and you're not sure how they'll receive it, just embrace that discomfort. It's okay. If you don't have all the answers to every question, what matters is that you're trying something new to improve the center. And that's what should matter most to your team. When you feel that discomfort creeping in, remind yourself that growth happens through discomfort and it's part of the process. You don't have to have it all figured out from the start, but you will figure it out along the way. And every time you step out of that comfort zone, celebrate it. It doesn't matter if it's a big leap or a small step. Acknowledge your effort, and that brings us to number 7. It's a great way to keep that momentum going and building confidence. After leading a tough staff meeting or a problem with a parent, a conversation that didn't go quite the way you wanted to, or maybe one that did, take a moment to celebrate the fact that you did it, that you acknowledged your courage, and you reflected on what you learned. And keep a win journal. I mean, what a great way to celebrate the work that you're doing, because we're so quick to make a list of to-do things and things that we didn't get done and focus on all the places that we're not winning. Maybe keep a journal where you are winning. After every success, big or small, write it down. Look back at your wins. It'll remind you how far you've come and inspire you to keep going. Which brings me to number 8, practice self-compassion. This is a big one. We tend to be our harshest critics. But as you push through discomfort, be kind to yourself. Treat yourself with the same compassion you would offer to a team member or a friend. And maybe you've stumbled during a staff meeting or a presentation that didn't go as smoothly as you hoped. Instead of berating yourself, remind yourself that it's okay to not be perfect. You took the action, and that's what matters. Here's an action tip for you today. When you make a mistake or you feel uncomfortable, say something kind to yourself, like, I'm doing my best and I'm growing, because self-compassion is critical to sustaining your journey of growth. Now, the impact. If you can get through all of this discomfort, the impact of embracing discomfort in your program as a leader, you will see significant changes. Your team will start to feel that change, and that change is possible. And as you model this growth mindset, your staff will feel empowered to step outside of their comfort zones as well. By introducing new initiatives, improving your communication, and tackling those difficult conversations, you show your staff it's okay to take risks, try new things, and fail forward. The ripple effect is powerful. As you embrace discomfort and introduce changes at your center, you're going to notice your staff feel more comfortable and start suggesting their own ideas for improvement. They'll follow your lead, and your center will continue to evolve in exciting ways. So here's a takeaway. When you step outside your comfort zone as a director, you create a culture of innovation and growth within your center. The benefits are felt by everyone: your staff, the children, and the families you serve. So that's it for today's episode of the Childcare Director's Chair podcast. I hope these 8 tips for getting comfortable with discomfort have helped you realize that stepping outside of your comfort zone doesn't have to be scary. It's essential for your growth. So whether you're having a difficult conversation, leading that new initiative, or simply trying something different, remember, growth happens when you embrace discomfort, stepping forward and celebrating each step you take. So thanks for listening. I'll see you next time on the Childcare Director's Chair podcast.